practice early with what appeared to be a right wrist hand injury. About 90 minutes into practice, Jackson got knocked down. He stayed for a few more plays and then headed into the facility. Welcome to NFL Live. I'm here with some of my favorite people, my own GM, Louis Riddick, one of my favorite teammates, Boog with a perfect bald head, and a dude that I saw early this morning, Dan Graziano. We've been hanging out all dang day. Now, one team who is worried about a franchise quarterback they knew they had coming into the season, and another just named their quarterback to start the season, and that's Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. And according to Shane Steichen, this move ain't for the short term, it's long term. It's a new year in Indy, and at least one player is not happy about what's going on.
I would say so. I think I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. You look around the league and see just like the consistency of having like Patrick Mahomes or like a quarterback behind you that's like been the franchise player for years and years and years, and getting to build that chemistry with that quarterback year after year is something that there is an advantage to when it comes to O-line play.
Quentin Nelson, a man that I would not like to upset, seems like he wants a franchise guy that he can have there for a decade, and he's not necessarily pleased with what's going on, Gras. Can you kind of tell us why the coach decided to go with Daniel Jones?
Yeah, RC, the answer I got back asking about this last night was consistency, that Daniel Jones had been the more consistent performer at the position throughout the offseason and throughout training camp. The Colts, they still tell you that Anthony Richardson at 23 years old is a young player they believe can still continue to grow, and that he showed positive signs of that growth throughout the offseason, but wasn't as consistent as Jones. And when he got an opportunity to start that first preseason game, he got injured and wasn't able to get the reps in that game that they hoped he would. That's kind of been the story of Richardson's career so far, missing time, valuable time due to injury, and right now he's going to have to work on getting better in a backup role for as long as Daniel Jones holds the job.
Yeah, I think this is pretty simple, guys. I think Shane Steichen understands where he is in his career as a coach. He's got to win. And he's asked himself, which quarterback gives me the best opportunity to win? Because if I don't win, then my kids' private school that they enjoy going to, we won't be able to go there. That nice Mercedes that my wife drives, we're not going to be able to afford that. So I got to win. Now, Colts as an organization would probably say, hey, we need to develop Anthony Richardson. But Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are not in a position to develop Anthony Richardson this year in forfeit of wins. They got to win. And if you're Shane Steichen, you just look in the mirror and you say, which one of these guys do I trust the most? Do I trust my kid's private school? Do I trust my wife's Mercedes to the most? And he chose Daniel Jones. And you know what? I can't be mad at him. Even though they knew when they drafted Anthony Richardson, he needed to play, he needed to develop. But right now at this point in time, I think Shane Steichen is making the best decision for himself and his coaching staff, and I think he's doing the right thing.
Well, a little simple flex by Booger there. He's talking about private schools and Mercedes, but Anthony Richardson's agent is trying to get him some private schools and Mercedes too. Derek Jackson spoke to our coach reporter Stephen Holder yesterday, and he did not hold back about the quarterback's future in Indy, saying, quote, "We have a lot to discuss. Trust is a big factor, and that is, at best, questionable right now," Jackson said. Anthony came back and made the improvements in the areas he needed to improve, and by all accounts, he had a great camp. You know, Louis, it feels like Richardson's time, at least to me, in Indy is done. Do you feel like he got a fair shot to be the guy there?
Look, RC, as you know, when you're the 4th overall pick, they're going to give you every chance to succeed, okay? The whole organization, by and large, is set up to really support you. So I really cannot say, from what I know, that the Colts didn't give Anthony Richardson a fair shot, okay? Are there things that when they go back and they analyze this that maybe they could have done better to support him? Maybe they could have done better to motivate him, to get him to the place that they needed to get him to from a cerebral perspective, from a readiness perspective? Sure, but a lot of this really does seem to center around two things. One, it seems as though they question, to some degree, his football character, his willingness to really buy in and be a first in, last out guy, a tone setter, a leader, a guy who buys into everything that it takes to be a professional at the highest level. And number two, we've all seen it. We've seen it 1,000 times. The replay of the situation down in Houston where Anthony Richardson asked out of a football game. That is one of those seminal moments, I think, for all of us as football players and as fans of this game that we'll never forget because we've never seen that before. We've never seen that out of that position before, ever in the NFL level. That's something that he's going to be facing for the rest of his life, trying to push that back and say, that's not who I am. And I think this really comes down to that. It comes down to trust. And they simply trust Daniel Jones more.
Yeah, I think that's real, Garage. What do you think?
I think.
You good, Garage?
What's that?
I said you're good.
Yeah, I think trust. The thing they've been unable to trust about him is his health. He hasn't been able to stay on the field. He has missed 19 of the 34 games the Colts have played since they drafted him. And when they drafted him, they said he has to play in order to get better. So I think when you look at Anthony Richardson's possible future in Indianapolis, it rests on a couple of things. Daniel Jones hasn't been the picture of health throughout his career either. Something could still happen there and give Richardson another opportunity. And if the Colts start to lose games, oftentimes you see a quarterback change brought up as an answer to that. So I'm not sure I rule out the possibility of seeing him in a Colts uniform again.
Well, Anthony Richardson's time may be done, but Cam Ward's time in Tennessee is just starting. And he had a little scuffle with a big man in Jeffrey Simmons. Let's hear what the star rookie had to say.
Jeff strong as I would say. It was fun at the same time. And I think it was what we needed, though. I mean, we love competing, especially me and Jeff. And, I'm excited to have that man as my teammate. And so, I mean, I can't wait to see what he do. Sundays I already know what he about, but I get to see the real thing coming soon.
Listen, y'all, Jeffrey Simmons has to keep his hand off the money, but Cam Ward is a guy who is showing he's a competitor. Our Titans reporter, Teron Davenport, was there. Hey, man, tell me exactly what happened at camp this week.
Yeah, well, you know how it gets, man. It was hot as fish grease out here, and tempers flared up. And basically what happened, on the previous play, Julius Chestnut, he bounced the run outside and got to the end zone, but he bounced it off of a J.C. Latham block on Jeffrey Simmons. J.C. Latham and Simmons, they have a rivalry, too. They talk back and forth. So he was letting Simmons hear it all the way up until the huddle. And then the next play, Ward hit Ridley for a touchdown, and he went over to celebrate it with his receiver. But on the way over there, he stopped, gave Jeff a push, and did his celebration. And Jeff didn't like that. So 2 hands to the face. The next thing you know, everybody came over to break it up. I talked to Jeff on Tuesday after practice, and he said that he loved the way the offense stepped up for the quarterback, and that's how it's supposed to be. And Brian Callahan on Tuesday also said that, yeah, you definitely want to have hands off of the quarterback, but the quarterback has to understand you can't go get in a fray like that.
Hey, you got to stay away from the big men, bro. Listen, the big men are not scared to throw hands. I remember one time we had a camp fight, and, I was kind of just holding the lantern outside of the huddle. Ramon Foster walked behind me, picked me up, and walked me away from the fight, and I was facing the fans. And that's when I realized there's a reason they got weight classes in boxing, fellas. Hey, Lou, when you think about Cam Ward and sort of the competitiveness he's bringing to this team, what does it say about a young quarterback that's willing to mix it up with a big bad dude like Jeffrey Simmons?
Yeah, man, look, we throw around the word alpha all the time, right? Like, this guy's an alpha, this guy's an alpha, this guy's a leader, this guy's a force multiplier, whatever word you want to use. Well, Cam Ward is all of that. He is all that, and he's been that at every stop along his progression, along his development, going from high school, Incarnate Word, Washington State, Miami, and now Tennessee, University of Miami, now Tennessee. And everyone that you talk to that knows him best will tell you he takes no junk from nobody. From day one when he was down in Coral Gables with the Miami Hurricanes, he wanted everybody's number. He wanted everybody's contact. He was taking over. He was taking control. It was literally a situation where he said, look, I'm the captain now, and you're going to do it the way I want to do it. And he took that university, by the throat and really led them. Had it not been for a poor defense last year, they would have been in the NCAA playoffs. He's going to do the same for this organization. He's going to have a great career. I expect him to do real big things in his rookie season.
I echo all those things, Lewis, but let's take it to another level. Like, we've reached a point in training camp / preseason practice where I'm tired of seeing you every day. Like, I'm ready to get to the regular season. I don't know how many more scrimmages, how many more walkthroughs I can get through. Like, I get it. Understand this, we are ready to go against somebody else. And I think this is one of those things that's a byproduct of, I'm tired of you, I'm tired of your little antics, I'm tired of your little dance. I get it, I respect you, but I just got to blow off a little steam. And anytime you can create something that gives you an hour or so of conversation at night, kind of helps pass the time, I think this is what happens in those training camps, at least the training camp scuffles I've been a part of.
Well, listen, I've been a part of a lot of training camp scuffles, and you know how it is when you the little dude. You got to fire off first, Booger, because I always felt like if I get one in, they going to break the fight up, and by the end of the night, I can tell everybody I won anyway. And so if you're Cam Ward, just know you got to expect the cavalry to come if you're messing with somebody like Jeffrey Simmons. But listen, we're just getting started on NFL Live, and the season starts in 2 weeks, and the Cowboys are still playing in Micah Parsons' face. Coming up, Lewis is going to tell you why the Cowboys have been their own worst enemy for up to 3 decades. And also, there's only one quarterback competition that hasn't come to a close, and that's in my hometown with the New Orleans Saints. Garage is going to tell you why there will be no second lining in the